Hi, I'm Chris. After suffering from MECFS for 6 years, I've fully recovered. I created this healing program to guide and support you on your healing journey from MECFS, Fibromyalgia, Long COVID, and related syndromes. If you haven't watched the previous videos in this series, I recommend starting from the beginning, as each video builds on the last. You can find them for free on my website at healing-space.online. In the previous video, we explored the types of internal and external stressors that contribute to our stress load and illness. We discovered that while stressors play a significant role, it is ultimately our automatic reactions to these stressors that determine how much stress we experience, making them the most important factor for creating meaningful change. We also learned that only about 10% of the stress we feel comes directly from the stressors themselves, while 90% comes from our automatic reactions to those stressors. That's why in this video, we'll focus on understanding these automatic reactions in depth. Automatic reactions are the ways we react to stressors or situations without even realizing it. They happen quickly, out of habit, and without conscious awareness. These reactions are shaped by our conditioning, so the patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving that we've learned over time. According to mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, there are 8 automatic reactions that are particularly harmful because they increase our stress and drain us of energy. While everyone exhibits these harmful automatic reactions to some extent, research and observations suggest that they are often especially pronounced in people with MECFS, fibromyalgia, and long COVID. This tendency is not limited to when we are ill, but often begin long before we even become unwell. So what are these 8 harmful automatic reactions? Let's explore them together. Judging. Constantly evaluating and categorizing experiences as good or bad. We often judge ourselves harshly for not meeting personal goals, feeling like a failure when things don't go perfectly. Impatience. Wanting things to happen quickly and feeling frustrated with delays. We get easily annoyed when things take longer than expected, like waiting in traffic or dealing with a slow response at work. Expert mind. Assuming we already know everything about the situation and not being open to new experiences. We dismiss new ideas or suggestions from others, assuming we know the best way to handle things. Distrust, doubting oneself and the process, expecting things to go wrong. We often feel uncertain about our decisions, constantly second-guessing whether we've made the right choice. Striving, always trying to achieve something or be somewhere other than we are. We constantly push ourselves to take on new tasks or responsibilities, even when we're already overwhelmed. Resistance. Fighting against or denying what is happening. We ignore early signs of stress or fatigue, refusing to slow down or take a break, believing we need to keep pushing. Clinging. Holding on tightly to thoughts, feelings, or experiences. we clinch to the idea of how our life or career should look, getting frustrated when reality doesn't match our expectations. Self-criticism. Being harsh and critical of oneself. We blame ourselves for our mistakes, telling ourselves we're not good enough or always falling short. Now we have covered the 8 unhealthy ways we tend to automatically react to situations and events in our lives. Can you see how these automatic ways of reacting to stressors are stressful and draining us of energy? Can you relate to any or all of these harmful automatic reactions? Personally, I could relate to every single one of them. I realized that these patterns were very pronounced in my case, and it wasn't until I went through the MBSR course that I understood just how stressful they are. These reactions weren't something I was aware of, but they added a lot of unnecessary stress to my life and therefore had a massive impact on my well-being. While everyone experiences these patterns to some degree, what makes a difference is how pronounced they are. The more intense these harmful reactions are, the more stress we feel. People who demonstrate low or moderate levels of these patterns are considered stress resilient. They respond to stressors in healthier ways, which helps them avoid experiencing high levels of stress. However, for many of us suffering from MECFS, fibromyalgia, and long COVID, these patterns tend to be pronounced. This creates a problem because these harmful reactions cause significant stress, overload our system, and drain us of energy. As Dr. Martin Seligman, a leading figure in positive psychology, highlights in his research, it's not the world itself that puts us at risk of illness, but how we see and think about what is happening to us. In other words, it's not so much the stressors themselves that push us into illness, but how we react to what is happening in our lives. Again, I want to emphasize that demonstrating these pronounced harmful patterns is not your fault. It's something we've learned through our conditioning. All in all, research shows that the stress reaction can be more harmful than the stressor itself, especially when the stressor is primarily mental. This opens us up to stress-related diseases. This is why, in my opinion, having pronounced harmful automatic reactions is one of the most significant reasons why we develop and remain stuck in conditions like MECFS, fibromyalgia, and long COVID. These patterns contribute to a stress overload, which dysregulates our autonomic nervous system and leads to the crash. Each time we encounter stressor and react to it in an unhelpful way, it triggers our stress reaction. This constant triggering of the sympathetic nervous system keeps us in a state of heightened stress and arousal. Over time, this combination of numerous stressors and unhelpful reactions lead to an ever-increasing stress load that burdens our system even before we become ill. In other words, long before the onset of illness, our stress level likely built up over months or even years, leading to a crash. And this makes sense because even before we got ill, we have most likely reacted to stressors in rather unhelpful and stress-inducing ways. You may not have been aware of this buildup at the time, and perhaps even now it's hard to see. This is because much of the stress we experience operates without us even being aware of it. Through this healing program, you'll become more aware of this hidden stress, and later, when you have a clearer understanding of how stress works, you might recognize that the buildup of stress had already started long before the illness set in. The key point to understand here is that as long as we continue reacting to everyday stressors, our symptoms, and our illness in these same harmful ways, it's likely that we'll remain stuck in illness. If we want a change in our health, we need to make a change in how we react to stressors. Instead of reacting to things that are happening in our life in the same manner, we have to take a step back and respond in a more considerate and calmer way. Building on insights from Jon Kabat-Zinn's work, we see that a lifetime of ingrained behavior patterns can wear down our health by adding to the daily pressures we face. Every time we react in unhealthy ways without being aware of our habits, we place further strain on our capacity for balance. Evidence increasingly shows that a lifetime of unconscious, harmful, automatic reactions to stress significantly raises our risk of breakdown and illness. This is why I believe the most effective way to heal from MECFS, fibromyalgia, and long COVID is to become aware of these harmful automatic reactions and replace them with mindful responding. A scientifically proven tool for doing this is mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us notice these automatic reactions, create a pause, and choose how we want to respond instead. This new way of responding has been shown to significantly reduce stress, increase energy, and improve overall health. In this and the last couple of videos, we have covered a lot of information. We've explored how stress is created through the interplay of factors like genetics, conditioning, stressors, and our automatic reactions. We have learned that stress quietly accumulates over time, adding strain to our system without us even realizing it. Eventually, this buildup can reach a tipping point, a final stressful event or trigger that overwhelms our ability to cope and leads to the onset of conditions like MECFS, fibromyalgia, long COVID, or other post-viral syndromes. That is why in the next video we'll take a closer look at these trigger events, how they interact with our accumulated stress load, and the role they play in the onset of illness. If you'd like to continue, you can watch the complete introductory video series for free on my website at healing-space.online. This video series is designed to support you in healing from MECFS, fibromyalgia, long COVID, and related syndromes. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and follow. Thank you, and see you in the next video.